In this video, I'm going to do a demonstration of about three concepts. The first will be the loop shape, and what we're going to do in this scenario is we're going to insert some logic here before we approve our PO. And remember, a customer has ordered some items from our company, and we want to check to see if those items are in inventory. So if you recall our PO schema here, what we have is a group of PO items. And we might want to know if this quantity of this item is in stock before we approve the PO or not. And so how do we loop through these items inside of an orchestration? It's very common to have a one-to-many relationship in your XML. So how can you do this? Well, the loop statement is one way, and then we will use in conjunction with that the XPath statement. And we've seen before how you can do promoted and distinguished fields, but when you're in a loop like this, you cannot distinguish a field. If you come here and try to add it, it says this node can potentially occur multiple times. Only nodes that are guaranteed to be unique can be promoted. So if you're going to access a one-to-many relationship, you're going to have to write a little bit of extra code to do that. So we're going to go back to our orchestration here. And so right here, let's do a loop. So there's a shape called loop, slightly off the video there. So I can come over here, grab the loop, drop it on the screen. It's kind of a square green half of a box. So in our loop, we need to have a counter. Normally we're going to say loop, while j is less than 10, that type of thing, right? So we need to know, first of all, how many times to loop. So let's insert an expression here, and let's figure out how many loops we have to do. Okay, so let us create a variable over here called new variable, and we'll name the variable v number of items, and that's going to need to be an integer. Okay, and then we'll set the initial value to 0. Now here we're going to set that variable v number of items equals. Now there's actually a couple ways we could do this. We could actually create a map, and we could use like the count functoid, and that would actually be a smart way to do it. But I want to show you how you can do it entirely with XPath here. So what we need to do is write our XPath, and then we're going to run it inside this phrase here. Okay, so the XPath expression is going to be XPath and then a couple of phrases here, and then we'll complete that. So first, I'm going to show you how I would do this using this third-party tool called Stylus Studio. I would open my XML, sample XML data, and then I would go to tree mode, and I would say right-click here, copy XPath to Clipboard. And then they have a tool in here called the XPath Query Editor, where you can paste a query here, and then when you run it, you press this button, and then it shows you the result down below. And you can see it's returning all the items right here, along with all the data under them. So actually, what I might want to do now is just put the word, now this is where I'm a little rusty on my XPath. Let's put the word count around that and run it. And that's not quite right because we're only getting the answer 1. And what I need to get is the answer of 2. Okay, so what happened there is it actually hard-coded the subscript 1 right there. And so therefore there was only one item that had subscript 1. Now if I run it again, you see it returns integer 2. So this will be my XPath right here. And now I can take that and I can put it back in Visual Studio inside this expression like this. Now there's a couple of tricks here. This is an integer, and this may not be an integer. Okay, so let's look real quick at the help system for BizTalk, and let's look up the word XPath. So we're going to open the BizTalk server documentation. Okay, and here's the actual syntax. It's XPath, and then there's two variables in the parentheses. One of the first variable has to be the message that you're actually looking at. So in my scenario here, my message was like standard PO. So I need to put right here MSG standard PON. Okay. Then the XPath itself is going to be a literal, which you put in double quotes. So if you do that, make sure you have single quotes here. Otherwise, you'll have the problem of quotes within quotes. Okay. And then in this case, oftentimes you put the word string. If you don't put the word string, it assumes you're returning nodes, in which case you would need an XML node over here. If you actually want the string of the title, you wrap this string around the XPath that you want.